episode 32 probably, or 33, I can't remember. In this week's episode I am announcing the winner of my giveaway that I have had 2 episodes ago. So the giveaway was about these 2 skeins of yarn. This is silk yarn, unlabeled silk yarn that I have had in my stash quite many years actually. And I just haven't figured out what to do from those, and since I don't have a label of them and I can't remember what the yarn was, I can't write the pattern because I couldn't put the name of the yarn in there, so that's why I'm giving them away. And because my podcast turned 1 year 1 month ago, so I decided to organize a little giveaway to celebrate my 1 year YouTube birthday. I'm announcing the winner in the end of this episode, but before that I was thinking about that I would talk about the situation with making of my knitting book. In case you didn't already know, I am making a knitting book that will be published by Laine Magazine. I have a deadline for the book in August, but the publication date isn't yet set, so I don't know when the book will be published. Very late this year or in the beginning of next year, we'll see. But anyway, I signed a book deal in the beginning of February, and I have been working with the designs of the book quite many weeks now. I also now decided that I wouldn't do, because I can make some choices in my life. I'm in a so happy place at the moment that I really can. I decided that I wouldn't do the assignments of my other job. If you have been watching my podcast episodes during this year, I quit my day job in the beginning of this year, and then the only jobs that I have at the moment is my knitting designing business and knitting pattern writing business, and then I have another job that I have been learning about, but now I talked with them and I decided that I wouldn't concentrate that much on that, because I can do that choice for now because I have to concentrate on my book. So I'm now kind of full-time concentrating on my book, on my knitting designing, and I have time in the next fall to do all kinds of other stuff and that is not knitting related, although I will always be a knitwear designer. I know that now, but I'm just saying that I don't have to do my other jobs at the moment, which is really relieving. Is that a word? Relief. It's a relief for me. Yeah. So yeah, and that's the situation with my jobs at the moment. But I was thinking about talking about the making of the book, and there has been over a month now that I have been working with my book. I have a knitting here. I'm just taking it and secretly knitting so you can't see, because these are the designs for the book and I can't show you them yet. So the situation with the designs of my book is that, as I have already told told you before, I have the preliminary sketches of the designs that I'm going to make, but also almost all of the yarns, collaboration yarns that I have I don't know the word. I have the collaboration yarns that I haven't assigned them, but I have subscribed or ordered, or the collaborations that I have been making. Anyway, you know what I mean. All the yarns are almost here. I have at least 3 parcels that are still on their way, but I know that they are in Finland at the moment, at least I think so. So I'm just waiting that they will arrive to the nearest local post office for me to collect them. But anyway, I have now 2 finished designs that are being test knitted at the moment. And last week was really productive for me. I knit the one of those finished designs in 1 week. I designed it and knit it. It took like 2 days for me to design and write the pattern, and then I knit it like 4 days, because one day I did some other pattern writing, so I was really productive with that, and I felt really good because I saw that it takes only 1 week for me to finish one design. But the design that I finished was kind of a design that had very loose gauge, so there weren't many stitches in that, although it was a sweater garment, so it wasn't a shawl or smaller knit, it was really a large garment. But anyway, it was that small because of a small amount of stitches, or smaller amount of stitches, that for example in this garment, because this is like sport weight, and that there was much more looser gauge in that design, so it didn't took that long for me to finish. Also, last week I decided to start a newsletter of my own, which I have been dreaming about making for so long now. I have wanted to kind of send more personal greetings to my followers and to my customers who always support me and buy my patterns with the newsletter, but I really haven't had any time in my previous life where I had 2 jobs, my day job and this knitting job that I'm doing now. So I have to prioritize the things that I did, and in my knitting job the priority was to make patterns, so that's why I haven't never sent any newsletters. But in the last fall I started to collect emails on my Instagram. There was this little sign up form to join my mailing list, but and I have collected those emails, and I'm going to send you the newsletter that I'm talking about. But now I decided that I would really use an external service for the newsletter. I'm writing the newsletter by myself, but I mean that I have a program that I can use for the collecting the emails and keeping all the data and making those newsletters. So that's because now I found one program, I'm really happy about it, and I can now start to making a newsletter. And I decided that I would first try to produce monthly newsletter, and if you want to subscribe my newsletter, I will put all the info below this video, so you can go there and sign up. I'm sending the first newsletter on Friday, 26th of March, which will be probably the same day that I will publish the video. So if you don't get the first newsletter and you are watching this later, you will get the April newsletter then, and the one that I will send later in April. But there will be always some special discount codes for the newsletter subscribers, so don't worry if you don't get the first newsletter, there will be more, I promise. But still, I promise that I won't spam you too much. I'm trying only make one newsletter in each month, so yeah. And okay, my laptop is making noises here. Yeah, about the bookmaking process. Yes, where was I? I was talking about the last week when I was really productive. I finished one design that had loose gauge, and that's why I got to the newsletter, because that was something that I learned also last week. So anyway, I have two finished sweaters. I have third on my needles at the moment, and then I have this shawl that have been on my needles 1 month, because it's something that I knit in the evenings when I watch TV or when I have finished something and I just want to grab some knit to work with. So it's kind of, it's progressing, but there is much more slower progress with that one. And actually now I can't remember if I already told you in the previous episodes that the shawl that I'm talking about is something that I ripped back while we were driving to Ylläs, to Lapland, 1 month ago, when we visited there, when our kids had a school holiday. And I had started the shawl a week before we drove to Ylläs, and then I was knitting it in the car while we were driving, and on the next day when we had to go, after the night that we spent in the middle Finland, pausing because it's so long drive to Ylläs, it takes 12 hours. So after the night in the middle Finland, I realized that I had knit wrong. I had made a mistake, and I had to rip back the whole 6 hours of knitting that I had done in the day before. But now everything's going smoothly. I have my shawl knitting in progress, but it's just progressing slower than the sweaters that I'm knitting. At the moment, I'm knitting a sweater that is going to be the most complicated project in my book. At least I think so at the moment. It takes time. I have had to I took at least 3 days of pattern writing for this, and now that I have been knitting the pattern, I have noticed that there are some changes that I have to make, so there will be more pattern writing. So at the moment, this week, I feel that I'm not so productive that I should be. I have to check if yes. because it feels that I haven't progressed that much, and yesterday I thought that I should knit more, so I would make some progress. So today I have been mainly knitting and not going to Instagram, which I do too often nowadays. And yeah, so I think I have somehow learned a process of, or a rhythm of making the book, I think. I mean that when I was knitting that sweater that I finished last week, within 5 or 6 days, I thought that this is a good pace for me to do the designing, that I am taking the first 2 days of the week, Monday and Tuesday, for the pattern writing and for the designing, for the sampling, and then I will cast on Tuesday evening or on Wednesday morning, depending if I have something else to knit. I mean, I think I knit the shawl that I was talking about in the Tuesday evening, and I cast on Wednesday morning the sweater that I finished last week. So so I mean that I have the first 2 days of the week for the pattern writing and designing and swatching, and the rest of the week is knitting. But this week I think that it hasn't been that way, and luckily I have 2 sample knitters now. They have offered to sample knit for me, and which I'm really grateful for. I have different agreements with them, but I'm really grateful that I can, at the moment, while I'm still working on the book, I still can produce patterns and make also publish individual patterns. But still, also that takes time, because for the sample knitters, of course, I have to first write a pattern, which takes, depending on the pattern, it takes 2 days from me. So, and of course the swatching and everything, I have to swatch the patterns that I'm going to write, so so that also takes time. So this week I was thinking about that I should concentrate for the book. At least I have now the 2 designs that I'm thinking about doing. The next would need some proper swatching and really thinking the design through before I can write the pattern, or I can even cast on. So I really have to concentrate on that during the next 2 weeks, I think. So I have to see how the sample knitting process will go with this book writing process, and I have to kind of try to keep my schedule. My goal is to make the most difficult patterns, or the most advanced knitting patterns in the beginning of this process. I mean, most advanced knitting patterns in the book in the beginning of this bookmaking process. So in the summer, when my kids are home from school and we have summer holidays, well, I don't have summer holiday because I'm self-employed and making the book, but I know that my husband will have a summer holiday. So I'm my goal is to have knitting in the summer that would be easy to knit, like TV knitting, or that I wouldn't need to be that much on computer the whole day. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for from my summer. I know that I have to work the whole summer that I can make the book, that I can make the deadline of the book. But I'm hoping that it would be a little different kind of work that I'm doing now, because at the moment the patterns that I'm designing are quite complex in pattern writing sense, so that's why I need to make easier patterns in the summer. Of course, the pattern that I was talking about, the one that I finished in like 5 or 6 days, wasn't that complex. It was quite easy to write, and after I found that it was kind of really a joy to write, because I really kind of was able to combine the really enjoyable knitting experience and really enjoyable pattern writing experience in a way that the stitch pattern that I used and I don't know the word for that, the pattern writing style or pattern writing, it's more like pattern writing decisions that I made kind of matched, or they were kind of clicked in the right places. So everything about that pattern was like, it just happened like this, and that seldom happens. So I was really happy about that, and I really felt happy last week, because the yarn that I chose was perfect. It was really enjoyable to knit. I had to rip back a little, but not much, and the pattern writing, the decisions that I did with pattern writing were kind of in everything with the stitch pattern and the enjoyable knitting experience kind of clicked, and I was really happy about it. It's not the case with this pattern that I'm knitting now. Well, the knitting experience is enjoyable, but now that I am actually making 2 versions of this pattern, and I wrote the pattern, and now that I'm knitting with the pattern, I'm seeing so many flaws with the pattern, or kind of spots in where I haven't think all the things related to my choices, so I still have to write and edit the pattern that I have already written. Anyway, that's the thing here at the moment. I'm in the process of bookmaking. I have started and everything is going, and I'm trying to find the proper pace with the pattern writing and knitting and pattern writing with for my sample knitters. So yeah, I'm in a process of making, I think, and designing, of course. But anyway, now the giveaway winner. I put all the comments. There were because I have always in an English speaking video, then I have a Finnish speaking video, and the giveaway episode was also in Finnish and it was also in English. So I calculated all those comments on both videos, and I had 121 comments altogether, and I put them in the random digit generator, and the number that I got was 17. And then I just started to calculate from the beginning of the English video, because I decided beforehand that I will start to calculate from the English video, and after that I will calculate from the Finnish video. So the winner was Johelin Knits, and then after I have calculated and decided that this is the case, and I reloaded the page, the comments were in different order. So that's the random as it gets. I really don't know how the YouTube will organize all the comments, because I also put a comment there that I'm choosing the winner today, and it put my comment in the middle of all those comments. But anyway, that's the name that was in that place when I was calculating the winner. So the winner is Johelin Knits. Below the English video, it was the 70th comment when I was calculating the winners. So congratulations, you will win these skeins, and you could send me an email or you could send me your contact information on Instagram. Either way is okay. I need your address details and probably a telephone number. Of at least in Finland, if we send packages, we need telephone number for the tracking of the parcel. So please contact me so you will get your yarns. And I will also put a complimentary pattern. I will print it out and put it with these skeins, so you will get a pattern too. Okay, that's all for today. Well, not exactly all. One more thing. It's the weather in Helsinki has been kind of battle of winter and spring at the moment. I have in the beginning now it's Wednesday. On Monday morning I went to skiing because we still had minus degrees, and the snow is better when you have a little minus degrees. And also on Tuesday morning I really wanted to go to skiing because soon we don't have snow anymore. So I'm kind of trying to get the last bits of winter before it starts to get spring, which I also love, and I want the spring to come soon, but I really love winter, and it's been so great winter in Helsinki. This winter we have had so much snow, so much fun with the snow, and it's been perfect. So I have been really enjoying skiing and skating and stuff. So I will put some skiing in the end, and at last weekend we were taking a walk with our family, so that's what you saw in the beginning of the video. We were still able to go on the ice surface of the sea. At some spots the ice were already melted, so we didn't it's not safe to walk too far away to the sea on the ice, so we only walked on the shore, which we hadn't had done this year. There have been some winters when I have been also skating on the sea, but not this winter. So anyway, enjoy all those bits and pieces in the end too. And see you next time. Bye!